October 3rd. It's Friday night. It's getting close to Halloween. It's getting crazy. We got pumpkin spice. Who cracked the heat this morning? Let me know in the chat. Have you cracked your heat yet? I cracked mine this morning. I admit it. I try to make it to at least November 1st, but I cracked the heat. Let me know if you cracked the heat. If you cracked the heat this morning, put a 1 in the chat. If you didn't, put a 2 in the chat. And all I know right now is that Karen Reed is free, and we still need to find justice for John O'Keefe. I want to welcome everybody in to the chat tonight. It's good to see everybody. We have channel members. Look at this. We've got a few people that cracked the heat. I cracked the heat this morning. It was 62 degrees in my house this morning when I got up. 62 degrees. I was like, cracked it, put it to 68, warmed the house up, jumped in the shower, got some breakfast. Look at this. Wanted to, right? Come on, do it. Do it. Crack the heat. It is. It's been brisk. It's been brisk. Missy says she's still running the ACs down here in the south. Where was it? South what? Southwest Arkansas. I still have my ACs and I haven't taken them out. Sometimes I take them out, sometimes I don't. But let's see. 39. Look at this. 39 degrees when she left this morning for work. Had the AC on. Jason said he had the AC on. Tomorrow it's going to be, and this weekend it's supposed to get to like 80 degrees. It's supposed to get crazy and 80 degrees. That's New England for you. But look, I got 10 random October facts and things about October that I want to read off to you. Oh, and by the way, Diddy is convicted today. Did he do it? Diddy got convicted today. 4 years and 2 months, I think he got. 4 years and 2 months. I am not having AJ on tonight. But we're going to go over a video that I started to watch like halfway through. And I'm probably going to disappoint a lot of people tonight. But I started to go through a video. I got halfway through it and haven't revisited it. So I was like, hey, I want to come on and hang out with my friends tonight. If you want to hang out with me, you can hang out with me. If you don't want to hang out with me, you don't have to hang out. But we're going to watch a video tonight. We're going to relax. We're going to talk about the civil trial. We've been had a really great show the other night. I did a presentation about the civil trial at Todd and Anup this past Monday. We talked about the civil trial, Karen Reed civil trial. We're going to hear Alan Jackson talk about the Karen Reed civil trial. Look at this. 90 degrees in Texas today. So what do you think? Did Diddy do it? Did he do it? 4 years and 2 months. 4 years. Super light sentence. That dude got caught on camera like beating a woman, didn't he? Didn't he get caught beating a woman in a hotel room and dragged her down the hallway and through the elevator and through the room by her hair? Like, how do these people get away with it? You know what it is? It's the money. That guy will pay his way all around jail. I don't know what he's worth now, but he will definitely pay his way around jail the next 4 years. He'll probably live a pretty posh life in jail with lots of protection. But let me get into my October facts here. So October is the only month with the same number of letters as it is in the calendar, 7 letters in the 10th month. The name October comes from the Latin octo, meaning 8, which is originally the 8th month of the Roman calendar. And then you have pumpkin spice. Love it or hate it. Becomes a cultural phenomenon every October with sales skyrocketing, drinks, foods, and even candles. Who likes the pumpkin spice in the room? Do you like the pumpkin spice? Give me a 1 if you like the pumpkin spice. Give me a 2 if you don't like pumpkin spice. Personally, I don't like pumpkin spice. I like pumpkin, but I just don't like the pumpkin spice. I like pumpkin, but I don't like the pumpkin spice. Look at this. 1s and 2s, they're battling out. A lot of people like the pumpkin spice. So number 4, the birthstone of October are opal and tourmaline, both associated with creativity and healing. And we need a lot of creativity and healing nowadays. We need a lot of creativity and healing out there in the world, I'll tell you. And then Halloween is October 31st, originated from the Celtic festival of Samhain, which is a pretty badass band that you must check out. One of my favorite singers of all time, Glenn Danzig, fronted that band along with the Misfits and then went on to do his own project called Danzig. But the original pronunciation of that is Samhain. And if you actually if you watch Halloween 2, the movie Halloween 2, they get a lot into that. Samhain and Samhain and Beltane and kind of the meaning and the spiritual meaning behind all of that. It's pretty cool. It's really the only Halloween movie that ever really explored that. And then we have in the US, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, symbolized by a pink ribbon. So wear your ribbon, support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And then Oktoberfest, despite its name, traditionally ends at the first weekend of October. And it mostly happens in late September in Munich. Number 8, October is when the hunter's moon usually rises, and it's the first full moon after a harvest moon, providing bright light for evening hunts. Number 9, in many cultures, October is seen as a month of transition, the midpoint between the warmth and the summer and the cold of the winter. And then number 10, famous people were born in October. You have Gandhi. I never knew that. And then John Lennon, October 9th, and Pablo Picasso on October 25th. So that is our 10 random and interesting facts and things about October tonight. I love it. 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 No, Alan Jackson is not going to be on tonight, but we're going to play a video that I started to watch the other night, about maybe a week ago. I got halfway through it and I just got distracted and I said, you know what? I'm going to get back to this. So we'll do it. Again, you can watch tonight. You don't have to watch. I'm going to pull up the Billy Bush interview. And fun fact about Billy Bush's studio, and I'm sure that people don't know about this. Howie Mandel actually owns a very large warehouse space, and Billy Bush's podcast is inside that warehouse. He actually has his warehouse is home to several different podcasts, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go over the interview. You guys can hang out with me tonight if you want to. We're going to sit back and relax and discuss this. Like I said, I got about halfway through it the other day, and I really wanted to revisit this. So that's how we're going to spend our Friday night tonight. Have some fun and break this down. And I want to hear, again, I haven't got the opportunity to hear all of this. And look, I had about 50 people drop out. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You know, maybe they've watched it already. It's cool, but we're going to go through this. And I thought, when I saw it, started watching it, it was phenomenal. The interview was great. It was telling, Alan basically saying, hey, I'm going to kind of sit back a little bit and let the civil attorneys take this, but going to be there to support. And again, we've talked about this before in, my last 2 lives, is that the great thing about this is, and not only Karen knowing this too, is that Alan knows this case. Alan and Liza knows this case front to back. So, they're going to be a huge asset during this civil trial when, like we heard, everything will be out there and on the table when they start getting into the civil trial. So, yeah, thank you. So let's get into this. Get your popcorn ready. We're going to hang out. Love the Billy Goats. Look at Nexus Lessons. I'm behind, but the pumpkin spice is all the way. All right. Pumpkin spice was all the way. I did see a new motion was filed today. I haven't got my hands on it because you know why? I worked all day and I got home and just set up to do my live stream. So maybe I can do that sometime this weekend when I can get my hands on it and go through it. So, all right, let's go through Billy Bush. Again, go sub up to Billy Bush if you haven't. He's got a great growing channel. He did a phenomenal interview here with Alan Jackson. Again, I only got to watch about half of it the other day, and I want to go through it. So we're going to hang out on this Friday night. It's kind of movie night here, and we'll play this hour of the Billy Bush interview. Shout out to Billy Bush. Great job. You're doing a phenomenal job, talking about the Karen Reed case. And we'll go through this. Here we go. I'll turn caps on, too, so everybody can watch caps. Here we go.
Leaving the scene after accident resulting in death. Defendant not guilty or guilty? So say you, Mr. Foreman.
Crazy to
So say you all. Jurors, hearken your verdict as the court records that you upon your oath say the defendant on 00.
Well, this one has been months in the making. What began in a suburb of Boston nearly 4 years ago quickly captivated the country. The Karen Reed trial ignited justice warriors all over the globe. And the man who drove the sleigh that set her free is here in studio. Alan Jackson today on Hot Mics with Billy Bush, presented by our friends at LA Golf. hot mics. Great time. YouTube. Wow. Karen Reed's lead defense attorney, Alan Jackson, is in studio. He's got a lot of other things going on, and there he is. Alan, how you doing, buddy?
Good. You're looking good, as usual.
We're starting a little
Southern
late.
California sun works for you.
You're just hammering phone calls in the parking lot. We're like, it's Alan. He's like, what? 2 more minutes. You've got so much going on right now.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. But this is worth it. This is a lovely reprieve.
Yeah, we're going to get to everything today. It's just, it's fantastic. We had after the trial, we met for a martini up in your neck of the woods and had a great conversation. I said, look, sometime I'd love to get you in studio. You said, absolutely, you can bank on it. And here you are.
And look at this situation you got going. Like, this is the real deal.
Yeah, man. It's pretty good, right?
Absolutely.
Who needs TV? See you later, baby. This is where all the action is. I got to start. Have you been paying it before we get into to all the things that are Karen Reed and, and the whole trial and everything? Have you been following?
That's a great observation, Debbie. I like that observation because it's something that I noticed about this as well, too. He seems very relaxed. He seems like very laid back. You can tell he's having fun with his interview. He likes Billy. Billy said, hey, we met for a drink. We hung out. You can tell he's really happy to be here and looks very well and rested, which is great. I mean, you got to think this dude ran hard for like almost 3 years. He ran super hard. I mean, he lived and breathed, Karen's case and will continue for quite a while here. Todd and Nan were on. We suspected like 2 to 3 years minimum in the trial. 2 to 3. Everybody loves the flannel. This is my favorite flannel. I've had this thing for like 5 years. I always pull it out every fall. I love wearing it, and it definitely is getting to be flannel season. All right, let's play on here, players.
At all with this Jimmy Kimmel situation?
I've seen the same thing that you have. I've not been following it incredibly closely, but I know what happened. I heard the comments.
I'm going to speed up to when they start talking about Karen. Let's see.
It's the bottom line.
You don't think it looks a little fishy that Nexstar, who owns 32 ABC jokes for 9 years,
putting handcuffs on Kimmel of the public?
But you like people cheering in the streets for your side, because that's what you had with Karen Reed, and the people would probably be cheering. Oh, I guess it would be a bloodbath. Who knows? Well, depend if it's in Salt Lake. No.
Yeah. Just wait. All right. It's all spinning. Right. It's to a certain degree. The theater of the courtroom, the theater of litigation is who does a better job of mounting your defense or mounting your position, and I do a pretty good job.
I wouldn't mind submitting an invoice to Disney too, so because
well, you would.
I'm wondering.
We probably wouldn't mind submitting an invoice to Kimmel either. He could probably pay the check.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, we're in studio here with Alan Jackson, lead defense attorney for Karen Reed, amongst many other.
I put it out there. I'd love to get Alan on the channel someday and interview him. I think that would be really fantastic. But, we'll watch this. And I think Alan's great takes on the civil trial, what they're looking forward to. I remember being out one time at a function with him, and I asked him, who is the person that and this was prior to trial 2. I said, who are you looking forward to getting back on the stand? And he literally said, Jennifer fucking McCabe. I can't wait to get her back on the fucking stand and crush her. And I could say that now. The trial's over. So I love that. I was like, oh, that's so cool. It was such a good answer. He just loves getting these people and twisting them and getting their lies to come out and exposing them. And there's going to be plenty of this going forward in the civil trial as well, too. All right, let's play here.
Things. We started with the acquittal. You saw the video there. I just haven't had a chance to talk to you about that. What always strikes me is just the love, that this team you guys came together like a real family right there. I mean, everybody's got the same hand signals.
We are a family still.
Yeah. Yannetti, Dave Yannetti,
Dave, Bob, Karen, me, Liza.
He's in tears crying over this thing. I mean, have you ever shed tears for any other client or any other acquittal?
I have felt emotion in just about every case that I've ever tried, from the prosecution side to the defense side.
I'm sure.
But I don't know that I've ever felt. I do know that I've never felt the level of emotion that I felt that day when I heard those words from juror number 1 saying not guilty. It was such a. I don't even know how to describe it. Like it wasn't just, it's not like out of a movie or a book. Like you just say, oh, okay, well, that's done. Next.
Yeah.
You don't get to flip that emotional switch. It was incredibly emotional for myriad reasons, not the least of which I knew that Karen and her family were going to have an enormous hill to climb to sort of get past all this, and this was the first step of that climb. The acquittal was not the end of her journey.
Yeah.
That's where a new journey begins. Trying to put all this stuff behind her. You can't do it. You can't just close that door and stick this in a box and say, oh, well, that was that thing that happened once. No, this defines Karen. This defines the Reed family. And to be part of that, and to be part of that, what I pray is some level of healing for her, for Bill, for Janet, for Bud, for the whole family. That's an honor. It was humbling. And to look over at David, who got big tears in his eyes. He's an emotional man. I'm an emotional man. To be able to hug him, to hug Bob, and say thank you to them, and for them to say thank you to us, and for all of us to sort of come together. That was a very, very special moment.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, I mean, this case. I mean, some of the emotion that I've seen come out of this case. How emotionally invested people got in this. It brought so many people together. And with that big common purpose, I think it gave people, from what I understand, what I gathered when I was down there on the ground and meeting with a lot of people that were on the ground outside the courthouse, out at the standouts. I mean, it gave some sense of hope, and it gave some sense of like getting involved in your community. And there was a lot of people that I met out at standouts and out front of the court said, I never got involved in anything like this before, but I felt so drawn to it, because this could be anybody. Karen could be anybody, Karen could be one of us. Karen could be your kid. And it really was amazing to see that. And just the emotional of that investment. I mean, I remember times when the trial was going on and I was at work and I couldn't watch the trial. I would sneak and put like an earbud in and try to listen, and not get caught by my boss. And you're hanging on every piece of word of testimony. And then like the thrill of like coming home, and for me, and trying to absorb it as like a content creator, and then being able to like put some shows together in like 2 hours and then go live with these big presentations. I mean, the emotional investment in that was crazy. And, to see everybody out there, and I was so thankful to be out there on acquittal day and seeing literally the quietness and the calmness as the jury was coming forward with their verdict, how people just hung on the edge of their seat or their they're biting their fingernails, and people are getting emotional and they're just listening, and everybody's on their, like literally on their phone. Everybody's going, trying to shush the crowd so everybody could hear, and then hearing, the not guilty, and that crowd exploding outside, and just watching everybody, and, watching people cry and hug and jump up and down and storm the streets. I mean, I literally looked back and I was like, holy shit. Like, I feel like, and it looks like we're in a movie right now. It was insane. And it was a very cool experience to be part of that. And maybe be a little bit of a liaison to some of this information. And I've said this all along too, the channel doesn't run without all of you. You are the subscribers. You are the viewers. You choose who you want to watch. You choose what kind of content you want to consume. You guide the channel. And I've always said that. And I always appreciate that support. And I always appreciate the support of people that I've got to meet on the ground and make some connections. And I've had people that just come up and they're like, oh, I've been watching you for like a year. And I try to watch you on the regular, or, some people say, oh, I can't make the live streams, but I go back and watch the replays. It's really cool. And it's just, it's cool. Like people, met new friends and new, new groups of people that just started to hang out and start all these little kind of communities and the standouts and doing these kind of like these nights. I remember Renee Rose down in Plymouth. She would invite people over to her house and they would make the signs for like court or standouts. And she's just building like this small community down the Cape. And it was just awesome to see all that stuff through this, the city and in and around all the surrounding towns to see, the Free Karen Reed signs. It really, bolstered everything around here, and it brought so much awareness to what was going on. It was such an awesome time. It was really cool, man. It was really cool. I met so many great people through all of this, and have that connection. And it's cool because I still run into people and they're like, oh my God. And it's a really cool thing. It was a really good sense of community. All right, let's keep playing through here. Billy Bush.
Wondering why, Karen hasn't spoken much. And you explained it to me when I was just sitting with you privately, but easy to share. Now, you just look, when you've been in that kind of fight or flight for 3.5 years, people are coming after your life and send you to jail for the rest of time.
Right.
You need a minute to decompress. If you start running to press interviews right away, it's like,
no, you're right. I mean,
you.
that's you said it best. You need a minute. That's what I said to you when we were having a drink and talking about it. I said she just needs a minute, and she deserves the grace of the public and all her supporters and people that watch this trial with interest from an intellectual and an emotional standpoint.
And this is kind of cool too. And I talked about this. And I hear something kind of funny about that, Nexus. So my friend Mo, his last day actually at my job is on Sunday. He's going to be leaving and going to a new job. But I am ever so grateful to my friend Mo, my colleague Mo at work, that literally I was like, this is literally the most important day. I have to be in the courthouse. And he swapped shifts with me. He's like, no, I'll take your shift. Just go. He's like, I want you to go there because I got people involved at work invested in this case that didn't even know anything about it. And I just started talking. I was like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel and this is stuff I talk about. And we support, this lady named Karen Reed. And this is what she's going through. And you just give them kind of the basics and they're like, holy shit. And then you get them invested and you get them to start reading a little bit of the material and listening to a little material. And they're like, no, there's no way that she did this. And then they're invested. And then they'll come to me and they kept going like, what happened in court today? Like, did Alan Jackson slay Jennifer McCabe? And, did they put Brian Higgins on the stand? And just, stuff like that. It was such a powerful word of mouth case. Like everybody in Massachusetts knew about this because you would just tell someone and that person would tell someone and so on and so on. And, I digress. It was really cool. It was really cool. And, look, we have the civil trial now, and we can still support Karen. And again, we haven't found justice for John O'Keefe yet. So that will come out. I really believe that in this civil trial, it's going to all come out because everything is going to be on the table. All right, let's get back to Alan Jackson here.
To give her that grace to take that minute. It's not, someone did lose their life, right? At the end of the day, this is still a very, very sad circumstance. Someone lost their life, and the people or the person or people responsible for that have yet to be brought to justice. It's not. It would be inopportune. That's not even the right word. It would be classless just to start taking a victory lap.
Melanie, thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. If you want to be a member, you can click the join button down there. My membership start at $1.99. It supports the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you. I appreciate that, Melanie. All right, let's keep hearing Alan Jackson.
It's not what this is about.
Excuse me.
Her ordeal is something I don't know that any of us can really understand. We can try.
Yeah.
I know her very well. I've gotten to know her as a family member myself, but I don't know that even I know, or I could put a finger on everything that she and Bill and Janet, her parents, are going through and will continue to go through. Are they happy? They're incredibly happy. Are they vibrant and living their life? Yes, they're living their best lives, and they will continue to do so. But I don't think any of them saw this moment as an opportunity to, raise their hands and run a victory lap. It was a hard fought battle that affected them, affected Karen more than any of us can quite understand.
I think people are pretty good judges of character. Just like, I read that book, Blink by Malcolm Gladwell.
That's one of my favorites. I love it.
I like it too. In the blink of an eye, you really get a sense of someone, right? Of what they're about and what they are. I mean, like when you talk to Bill Reed, of which I have several times, the father of Karen, it's like all you can see is like true blue, like man of faith, like just
100%.
this guy is there every day supporting his daughter. I mean, there's just no way. And you see Karen Reed, who's, she's not afraid to share a little extra information in an interview because she's got nothing to hide. Does she speak a little much when, in some of these interviews she did before the second trial? Well, when you're, if you're innocent, you're not overly thinking about what you say.
Correct.
Right. So you could feel the authenticity.
Yeah. People ask me many times, legal practitioners ask me many times, like, what were you thinking? How could you possibly let your client speak in public that often about so many subjects? The gloves were off and there was no strings attached.
Because she has nothing to hide.
Because she has nothing to hide. She didn't do it.
Yeah.
She's innocent and she's articulate. She can articulate for herself her own innocence. She didn't need me to do it. I need to throw in or assist in a courtroom for sure. But she could articulate her innocence as well as anybody or better than anybody. So what the hell did I have to hide? I didn't care.
Karen said she took a little vacation there just with her parents. They got away a little bit. And you told me you did get to decompress a little yourself, right? Where didn't you go somewhere?
I went to Europe.
Yeah.
I had a birthday, so I was able to steal away to Europe for a little bit. And
I'm seeing you on a yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean. Was there a little?
It may have happened. There may have been a boat somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a rowboat, not a yacht. But there was.
Do you know how to unwind? I mean, you're very busy.
No, I don't. That's why I'm hanging out with you. I got to learn from you. I know you know how to unwind.
I'm learning.
I remember that part. I was like, he's like, no, I don't relax. I mean, I can only imagine what's constantly on the plate of Alan Jackson, and then to balance his personal life, versus his professional life. I mean, there's a lot on his plate. Can you only imagine? Like, I'm sure he doesn't get a moment to relax. It's crazy. Brilliant man, and never shows any falter on his face. Always has a smile on his face.
Yeah. It is a skill. I got to tell you, it is not that easy to put the phone on mute and just say, I'm not going to do it. To shut the computer, shut the laptop and say, I'm not answering those emails. That is a skill set. It is one that I have not yet developed, but I'm working on it.
So, in your mind or have a pretty good picture of what actually did happen since Karen Reed did not back up and kill John O'Keefe.
She certainly didn't.
So you in your mind, you have a pretty good picture of what did?
Yes.
Happen?
Yes.
Thank you, Bonnie.
But next you're going to ask me what it is, and I'm going to deflect.
Will we have an opportunity at some point to know what that is? Because at some point, maybe you stop going on defense, right? And will you choose to go on offense or just walk away and live life?
There are several different forums that we have available to us to discuss this on the private side of things as well as the formal side of things in courtrooms. Our courtroom sojourn, our odyssey is not quite done yet. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be out in Boston on Monday for a court appearance.
Well, you have the first hearing in the civil trial, right?
Right.
So what happened? Okay, so that's Monday, September 22nd.
That's the 22nd.
It's the first hearing on the civil trial, folks. Karen Reed was acquitted on all charges against her in the retrial in the criminal case, but now we've got the civil case brought by the O'Keefe family against Karen and 2 bars in town, wrongful death, emotional distress, all these things. It looks a little different. Instead of 12, correct me if I'm wrong, 12 jurors in the criminal, this will be 6 jurors that in the civil trial?
The court makes the determination, and honestly, I don't know what the court's going to decide or what Massachusetts procedure dictates. It could be 6, it could be 9. It's not going to be 12.
What happens in this hearing that comes up on Monday? It's the first big event.
Yeah, it's a status hearing. It's when the court basically says, what are we doing? What are we expecting? What are both sides expecting in terms of moving forward? What's this litigation going to look like? It's basically a look-see where everybody kicks the tires to figure out kind of what's next. How big or little is the litigation going to be? How much time needs to be allotted to the discovery process, the pre-litigation motion process, law and motion work, things of that nature. So it'll be relatively formulaic, but we
he doesn't want to give away too much.
Yeah, you might want to tune in.
Really?
Sure.
Yeah, I think he was going to bust it there and say, yeah, I think I think he was probably mentally running through what they were going to do on the day of the civil trial, obviously the civil hearing, and we heard what happened. They dropped some BOM BS and introduced some players, some major players that were in and around 34 Fairview on the night that John O'Keefe was killed, not by Karen Reed, that they are going to bring into the civil lawsuit. And they're like, hey, if you want to come at us, if the O'Keefes want to come at us and sue the Waterfall and McCarthy's and Karen Reed, well, let's just do this. Let's just bring everybody into it. And they brought all the major players into this lawsuit. And I love it. Put it out there right in front of the public. And it was funny, Nan was saying, yeah, you can file a motion on this and kind of slide it in. But I love that they did it in front of the camera because they're not going to let these people forget. All right, let's play.
Are you going to go? Are you going to take some? Are you going to be forceful? Take some shots?
Anything we do on behalf of Karen is forceful. We're not going to sit back and just have the case come to us. We go out and we tend, as a team, to go out and be affirmative, be assertive with our movements. So that's our intention. We'll do that throughout the entirety of the litigation.
Wow. How long do you think this thing takes?
I mean, look, I'm not a civil litigator by trade. These things they count them in years, not months. So it could take a minute.
Okay. Well, Karen is, the latest. She's serving 1 year of probation for operating under the influence and a suspension of her driver's license for a year. Is her car any closer to being returned? The Lexus SUV that they've been hanging on to?
Yeah, it's been returned.
Okay.
The car is no longer in the Massachusetts State Police.
I was surprised to hear this.
Possession. It's in our possession or tangential to our possession.
Mandatory treatment program, that was part of it, right? Does she have to do that?
Yes, she's following all the protocols of a standard DUI in Massachusetts. Nothing special, nothing more, nothing less. Yeah.
Other latest news, Kelly Dver.
Veruca Salt.
You said Dver.
Yeah, right.
And you were right. Because it would be two V's if it was Dver.
Right? The difference between Eddie and Edie, right?
You were right calling her.
Yeah.
You should have said, you know what, ma'am? Actually, no, that is not your last name. Your last name is Dver. But anyway, Kelly Dver, who originally stated she saw Brian Higgins and Canton Police Chief Kenneth Berkowitz suspiciously surrounding Karen's Lexus SUV in the Canton Police garage called Sallyport, then later called it a false memory under your cross. She resigned from the Boston Police Department on September 1st. She was on medical leave or family leave or whatever all summer long. What are your feelings about her today? Do you have any sort of, I don't know, sympathy for, it's kind of a sad character.
Sympathy.
Her whole life, she's so young and she's just got any? Or is she?
Zero. No sympathy whatsoever. She's also a grown woman. Young, I don't care. She's grown.
Certainly rude.
She was old enough to carry a gun. She was old enough to carry a badge. She was old enough to take an oath, right?
I love that.
Yeah.
Those things come with consequences, right? You've got responsibilities. And look, I take no pleasure in, I'm not going to dance on her demise, but do I have sympathy for her? No, she made her bed, as the old saying goes, and she's got to lie in it. So I think it's exactly what should have happened, did happen. She should not ever carry a gun, carry a badge, be in a position of authority, running herd over the community. It comes with consequences.
Alan, we're going to go to the chat section here.
Real quick. Janet, thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member and supporting the LTL here. And again, if you're just coming in, we're having a movie night. We're having a movie night. We're watching the it was a video. I don't know. Did they live stream it? I think they live streamed. It was a live stream about 2 weeks ago. Billy Bush and Alan Jackson. This might just be a video. I'm not too sure. But they did an interview together about 2 weeks ago. And like I said, when I started the stream, I watched about 30 minutes of it. I shut it off. I kind of forgot about it. And then I was like, you know what? This would be a good Friday night. Let's chill and hang out. We'll talk about the civil trial. We'll sit back, relax, and take in this video. So some people probably have seen it, some people haven't. And like I said in the beginning of the stream, if you want to hang out, you can. If you don't, that's fine too. So a lot of other shows on, a lot of other videos to watch, but we're gonna hang out tonight as friends and just hang out here in the chat and watch this. All right, here we go.
Here for a second. We're live, so people are fired up to get something in here. Marley says, "Are there cameras allowed in the civil trial?"
It's up to the judge. Normally,
yeah. So, and fun fact, Melissa, I don't know if you knew this. So Melissa says, "Hey, he was live in his studio in California." Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but guess who owns that studio? Howie Mandel actually owns that complex, that studio, and he has several podcasts that actually rent out of that building. It's pretty cool, and I think Howie's podcast is in there as well too. Man, wouldn't that be great if you were renting out of Howie Mandel's studio space, and you just walk in there every day and it's like, oh, there's Howie Mandel. All right, let's keep
cameras
playing
do
it.
not go in civil cases, but look, think of Johnny Depp.
Oh wow.
So cameras were allowed in that case.
Grand.
So we'll see. I don't know. It's up to the judge.
Lizard says, "What's up with the Jen McCabe texts that Turtle Boy got, but Karen Reed's defense did not get?"
Well, that's a whole other can of worms to have to unravel, and we're not done fighting on that battleground. That's a very good question, salient question. It turns out that there were Michael Morrissey texts that we didn't get. There were Jen McCabe texts that we didn't get. There's a lot of discovery that we didn't get. Turns out, thank God, we didn't need it to win the trial twice. But it is questionable why we didn't get that stuff. It's pretty outrageous.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Fat Cat.
Boy, here's an interesting question. Do you miss the trial atmosphere and supporters? Or are you glad it's over? And do you imagine that all those people will return and come back out?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. Do I miss the trial and the supporters? I speak with Karen pretty regularly. I don't talk to the rest of the team as regularly because they've all got businesses and clients and court appearances and things going on in their lives. But the reality is I never thought that I would feel this way, but I absolutely desperately miss that adrenaline rush. I do.
I talked about this, I miss listening to the trials, kind of hanging on every word, talking with my friends about the trial, talking with, my panel guests about the trial, listening to different perspectives of how people take in information and process it. Looking at all the Facebook groups and on X, and it was just such a wild time and such like this sense of puzzle solving. And I love puzzle solving and everybody kind of coming together and saying, oh, did you hear what Jennifer McCabe said here? And they would clip it and you'd see it all over X and everybody would be discussing it. Or, Brian Higgins, brought his lawyer in today. Did you see this? Did you hear that? I just loved all that stuff and picking it apart and just having all these topics and subjects to discuss and talk about with people. I don't miss the fact that Karen was dragged through the coals for the last 3 years. And we don't have justice for John at the end of this, but all that, the sense of community, the puzzle solving, the sharing information, talking about information, asking for information. I miss all that. There was something really special about it. All right, let's keep going here.
I was like, when I was in it, I was thinking, when is this thing going to be done? Like, when is this going to be over? The stress was unbelievable. As you can imagine.
Support from the crowd must have just been like, you're going into like arena every day.
It kept us buoyed. We were like gladiators.
You're like LeBron, the lawyer. I mean, just going into the game. And Jackson checks back into the courthouse. Here he comes.
No, it was. That's what kept us going every day. Is that the adrenaline punch that we got from the supporters yelling, calls of support. For me, for Karen, for David, for Bob, for Liza, for all of us on the team and around the team, for Evan, for the other interns that were working for us. By the way, Evan, I should tell you that I poached from Karen one of the interns that we hired that worked with us daily during the entire trial. Hired him, and he came out to California. He's now a member of Worksman Jackson.
No way.
No, I'm super proud.
A Karen Reed intern is now an apprentice. He's underneath.
Correct.
He starts with coffee and then he moves to laundry and then he gets he's
that
already a paralegal.
That young man is going to court. He is sharp as a tack.
God,
yeah. No, it's amazing. This whole thing. So to bring it home, yeah, I miss it every day. I miss the trial atmosphere. I miss the fight. I miss the adrenaline rush.
Sure.
This is why I do this job. Every lawyer that wants to be a trial lawyer, I mean, this was the case to want to try. So yeah, cool. I miss it all the time. And I miss Karen. I miss her family. I miss the rest of the team.
Yeah.
It's funny. I never thought I would, but I do.
Amazing. Civil case is coming.
As much as I hate to say, like, you know, I miss seeing the Reeds and I miss talking to Nathan and seeing Karen and her parents, you know, and I hated the fact that, like, and I even said this to them thousands of times. I'm like, I hate the fact that I had to meet you guys under these circumstances because you seem like such nice people. And, you know, and they're great people. And, you know, they only live a couple of towns away from me. So it's just like, I hated the fact that I had to meet. I always said that to Nathan. I always said, like, I hated the fact that I had to meet you this way. And just, you know, missing having those conversations out in front of the courthouse when I got to see him and him sharing information and saying, hey, this might go down today, or you're going to want to look when they're up on the stand and they have, you know, Proctor up there, they're going to push him for this. And, you know, just loving hearing that and missing all that stuff. So I get it. You know, I can definitely hear what Jackson's saying here, you know, missing that environment. You know, it was crazy. It really was. All right, let's keep playing.
Like we said, Alan Jackson is in studio here. We are live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. We are taking questions from the chat, and they are absolutely flying in here. But will you be leading the team for the civil trial, or are you just there and ready to, like, the sixth man on the bench to check in because you got some other things going on? Well,
obviously, I've got a pretty heavy practice here in California, so it's I've got a. We as a team have all decided that we're going to divvy up the work apropos of each one of our responsibilities. And obviously, knowing that I'm 3,000 miles away, it's a little difficult for me to do some of the day-to-day stuff. But my skill set is trying cases. I'm not a civil litigator. I don't do law and motion work in civil cases, generally speaking. So I will leave that to the professionals. She has an incredibly talented team. At She and Finney, those lawyers are just going to crush it. There's other lawyers involved as well. She's got a pretty good bevy of lawyers to take on the laboring oar from now until the trial starts. I would expect that I'll have a pretty heavy role in the trial, but we'll see. There's a lot of talented folks.
I mean, you've done all of this before. It's kind of odd. Like, okay, here we go again. I mean, you don't have to do that much work, and this time I wouldn't think.
You know, it's funny you say that. I wondered when the first trial ended in a hung jury, and I immediately knew, okay, we're going to do this again. Here we go. Right to your point. Here we go. We're about to have to take the laboring oar on the exact same river that we just navigated. It should be a layup. I've never worked harder in my life than I did in the second trial. It was double the amount of work, triple the amount of work. We had all the same information that we had previously, the discovery, thousands and tens of thousands of pages of discovery. Now add to that all of the new information that came out during the trial, all the new transcripts, all the new cross-examinations, the direct examinations. We're dealing with a new lawyer. They brought in new experts. God knows what the civil trial is gonna present in terms of new experts and things of that nature.
I can only imagine the information for the civil trial is going to be tenfold of what it was in the criminal trial. I mean, there's so much more discovery that you're going to get. You get everything. And we talked about that. And I'm urging everybody, go back and watch the Todd, Nan, and myself when we broke down kind of, you know, the basics of what the civil trial is going to get into. Go back and watch that stream. It's still, you know, obviously it's still up if you haven't watched it. It's a great live. And you get a lawyer and a former Mass State Police take on that with my little commentary in between, but to get their takes and what they think It's very telling. It was very educational. We had a slide presentation, and it was such a great live. Yeah, so let's do this. We'll keep playing. Let's see. Thank you. It says thank you. A little late. Didn't realize it was about Diddy. I thought it was about AJ, and I was like, what? So thank you for clarifying. No, I just talked a little bit about Diddy in the beginning because 4 years today, 4 years and 2 months. Did he do it? Did he not? I don't know. Leave it all up to you. So, all right, let's keep playing.
Evidence that they didn't let you present in the second trial that maybe this time around you can? Isn't there stuff that you were prevented from sharing, like major stuff?
Yeah, and an enormous. Well, how about the fact that the federal government was involved in the investigation of the investigators? How about that?
Right.
Yeah, that's the whopper, right? That's the big one. But there were myriad examples of things that we were not allowed to present. Judge Cannoni was extremely restrictive of our defense in terms of what we were allowed to present, even through the experts that we did call.
Is she corrupt?
I'm not going to use. I'll leave it to others to judge and use words like that. I think I've done what I needed to do. I'll tell you this:
compromised?
I feel very good about what I presented, what the arguments that I've made, the information that I sort of presented into the public forum, the conversation that we engaged in the public forum about Judge Cannoni and the Massachusetts justice system in general. I'll let others decide: is she corrupt? Is she compromised? I don't need to use words like that.
Are we going to see? I'm going to use words like that. I'm going to use this I'm going to ask the audience here. Do you think Judge Bev was corrupt? If you think she was corrupt, give me a 1 in the chat. If you don't think she was, give me a 2. And let's watch the chat here in a second. But I'm going to play through while you punch your answers in.
See a lot of the same people on the stand. But in the second trial, we didn't see some of them. We didn't see, like Brian Higgins. We didn't see. Are we going to see Brian Higgins?
I think the entire
Jen McCabe,
cabal of bad people will be.
Oh my God! The band is getting back together. I mean, this is going to be a whole nother round.
I said this before. Nothing's off the table. No one's off the table. They're all set. Look, they wanted to bring a lawsuit. They brought the lawsuit. We didn't bring a lawsuit.
Yeah,
we're defending a lawsuit.
Who are you most looking forward to questioning out of all the bad apples?
Yes.
All of them.
I love that answer.
All of them.
I would relish the idea of having another conversation with Miss McCabe. Yeah.
Brian Higgins, who escaped the last
Mr. Higgins,
one.
yes, absolutely.
Well, Mr. Michael Proctor.
I told you that is the one for him. I still think that's the best exchange. Trial 1, Alan Jackson, Jennifer McCabe, bam. That is the best exchange.
I would imagine that
he'll be back.
I imagine he will not be able to duck this one.
You see, this is the shithole that they've got themselves in, and this is a real problem, right? Because Mrs. O'Keefe is very upset, the O'Keefe family, and they think this is that they're going to get their answers here, and they want justice, and they want to get paid for this, and they're going hard, and these people are telling them, you're right, and now they have to go through it all again, and they know inside, oh God, if our lives weren't over before.
The problem with that, Billy, is I do have. You talked about whether or not I have sympathy or empathy for Kelly Dver. Or is it Dver?
It's
Lucas Salt. Get it right.
It's
Lucas Salt.
I don't have any sympathy for Miss Dver because she made her bed. She's got to lie in it. Like I said, she brought this on herself. But I do empathize with the O'Keefe family, writ large, all of them. I think that they have been sold a bill of goods.
Yeah.
I think they were sold that bill of goods when they were the most vulnerable. They had just lost a surrogate father, a son, a brother.
Yeah,
that's devastating, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But in that moment of vulnerability, in those times of vulnerability, they were sold a bill of goods for a reason, for a specific reason, to turn them against Karen and to turn their eyes away from the actual truth of what happened. And they have sort of absorbed that since then, and they've never wavered. And that's a shame. That's a shame. It's not shame on them, but it's a shame that they feel that way because they can't and won't quite see the truth. I feel empathy for them. But what I'm not going to do is sit back and watch them or anybody else take shots
Roll
at
over on
Karen,
right?
and try to take advantage of a
Yep.
civil courtroom,
Right.
and try to establish some sort of liability of her that doesn't exist. That's never going to happen on my watch. Not as long as I'm alive and breathing.
We are
The thing about it is you sit here and you think and you go, listen, this family sat through two trials, trial 1, trial 2, and literally watched everybody that colluded together to put falsehoods and lies to take Karen Reed down. You literally watched this all play out in a courtroom, especially the second trial. The second trial, we had so much more information as far as in tune with the accident, the non-accident, okay? The non-accident. And you're watching this play out. How do you sit there and watch the demonstration from Aka and go, yeah, that didn't happen? But then you see a guy that spreads blue paint all over himself and rolls into an SUV like Karen, like literally rolls into it, dresses up like John O'Keefe, which is fucking creepy. Guy plays cosplay and smears blue paint all over his arm, and you go, yeah, that's the guy we're gonna believe. And then to watch like Man Shannon literally get crushed on his credentials, on his education, and you go, yeah, that's the guy we're gonna roll with. And you have Jennifer McCabe, you have Brian Albert, you have Brian Higgins, and I know Higgins didn't testify. I know Brian Albert didn't testify in the second trial, but I'm just saying, you watch all these testimonies, none of them can get their story right. You get the Canton police, the Mass State police that were involved in this. There was not any proper evidence collection. No one knows what. Nothing was documented. There were no interviews. And you look and you go, yep, those are the people we're going to roll with. Listen, I feel bad that you feel that way. And you literally, and I don't like saying this because we still haven't got justice for John O'Keefe, but you literally had your asses handed to you in 2 trials. And now you're going to take up this bullshit civil trial where you had the opportunity to publicly turn this around and go, you know what? Maybe we should turn this suit on the Mass State Police. Maybe we should turn the suit on the Canton Police Department. Maybe we should turn the suit on the fucking people that were inside 34 Fairview that night. And I talked about this before. If this situation happened to me, the first thing my mother would do, is, and God bless my mom. My mom can't drive. She's legally blind. She would find someone to pick her up and drive immediately over to 34 Fairview and do one of these. I have some questions. Sorry. That's what my mom would do. But, I'm just going back to my bigger point. They had the opportunity to turn this around and say, you know what? We need to place civil suit on these assholes, these jokers that lied. And I just want to think, I really seriously want to think, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Maybe I'm giving the O'Keefes too much credit. But there's got to be a small ember inside their stomach that says, maybe. I would hope, but I don't know if it's there. And obviously it's not. They want to drag Karen through the coals. They want to bring her through the civil trial. And I said this before. I think they're going to get their asses handed. This is my opinion. I think they're going to get their asses handed to them again. All right, let's go.
Live in studio here with Alan Jackson, defense attorney for Karen Reed. And the civil trial will get going with its first hearing on Monday. So Alan will be flying over the weekend back to Boston. Questions are rolling in. And yes, we are live. Miss Jessica says in our chat, you're not live.
Why not?
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
How are you?
We're live.
Now what, Jessica? As live can be. Nicola Moffat is asking a question. Will it be hard to get a jury? Like, who hasn't heard of Karen Reed, in that area?
It is. Yeah, it's super challenging. It was very challenging the first time. It was 10 times more challenging the second time, but we'll do it again the third time if need be. Yeah, we'll get a jury. We'll get a fair jury. You bet.
I would think if the homeowners approve, but they got a lot of video evidence. I know Nick Rocco was putting out a lot of clips towards the end of the trial. I mean, they had been inside that house. I remember that one where you heard someone up in that top floor where Brian Albert's bedroom would be, in the window. I think the window was closed, and Alan Jackson went outside and screamed, you would clearly hear someone in that yard. We saw clips like that. We saw some clips in the garage. So I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. I'm sure the homeowner would cooperate. Again, and it's just like, look, you're now dragging the new homeowner through this as well. And just shit like that. I mean, it's just so nonsensical. This whole civil trial is nonsensical. And literally, I hope that the O'Keefes don't get a penny. Not one red cent. Not one red cent. They really need to turn this around on the people that are truly involved in this. And we know who they are. All right, here we go.
Your involvement required court approval because you live out of state.
Right.
Is there any thought that they might have dinged you for that? Like, just keep Jackson out of here?
No. There still is a Sixth Amendment right that Karen has to a lawyer. So she gets a lawyer of her choosing, and there was really no reason to believe that any judge, especially Judge O'Shea, seems to be a very, very reasonable judge, was going to keep me out of the case, or Miss Little, Liza Little's in the case, and one of my other partners, Caleb Mason, is also in the case.
Well, oh yeah, he's new.
We've expanded the team. He's not new to the firm. He's been around for a long time.
Why is he coming? What's his expertise?
He's a former civil litigator. He understands the contours of the civil litigation side of things, which I don't practice in. So he just adds a font of knowledge that is amazing, and somebody that I can lean on and rely on back here in California.
What is the thing that you do better than anyone else? Or what is your greatest strength? I mean, geofencing and cell phone data.
And I love that Jason brought this up too. Like, you're going to bring Karen into this civil trial where you literally have, and again, I'm kind of, the evidence proves Karen didn't hit him. It makes more sense that whatever happened to John happened inside the house and he was moved outside hours later. And that's the truth, Jason. That is the truth. I mean, Karen Reed is factually innocent of killing John O'Keefe. Karen Reed is factually innocent, and scientifically, let's put that in there too, scientifically clear of ever hitting John O'Keefe and John O'Keefe ever making any contact with Karen's SUV. It did not happen. It could not have happened. All right, let's go.
Or is it the way you prepare? Like, what makes you so good?
I can't say that I do anything. I appreciate the compliment. I don't know that I do anything any better than anybody else. One thing that I never get accused of is being underprepared. I do prepare like a crazy person. If there's something that I need to learn, like geofence data, which most people don't know anything about, I will learn it from top to bottom, left to right, before I ever walk into a courtroom. If it's EDR data, if it's trigger events, if it's text stream data, things that don't roll off the tip of my tongue, I will learn as much as there is to be gleaned on that subject before I ever walk into a courtroom. The last thing I want to have happen, look, I'm never going to know more than an expert does on any particular, if it requires expertise. I'm never going to know more than them, but I damn well will be conversant on that subject matter. And so I just study a lot.
Have you ever been caught on your ass in a moment where you didn't know something and you were like, and so that just said,
Sure.
Okay, never being here again.
Yeah. As a young lawyer, that didn't have to happen more than once or twice.
Right.
And I realized, I'm not going to be made a fool of again.
Joy Schmeha, that's what she calls herself. Her name is Chrissy, but she's one of our family here. She's asking, Alan, will things that were impounded be allowed in the civil trial? Will you be able to call Colin Albert? That's a really good question.
It's an outstanding question. Yeah.
Colin Albert is a very interesting character here who was kept away from the spotlight in the second trial entirely.
Right. Think about it this way.
He's the son.
The writer's name is who? Who is it?
Joy. Her name is Chrissy, but
Chrissy.
Yeah.
That's a very salient question. Think about it this way. All of the evidentiary rulings that Judge Cannoni made, they're all out the window. We started with a clean
everything.
slate. So yes, the answer is, would we be able to, do I believe we'd be able to, if we could establish the relevance and materiality of Colin Albert, which we clearly can, would he be on the docket, on the witness list to be called by either side? Yeah, he sure could. And so could Brian Albert and Nicole Albert and Julie Albert and Chris and Matt McCabe and Jen McCabe, the whole bevy of folks. There's nobody that's off limits.
I'm going to ask Alan a question, but I don't want the camera on me while I'm asking. I'm a body language expert. also freelance body language expert. I want it on Alan, just Alan.
You do know I have a poker face, right?
While I ask the question, and this is seriously, like, when I think about what could have happened that night, I think about this kid, Colin Albert, because he's troubled, and he has gotten in a lot of big, serious trouble in that state before. And I think coming home, drunk, mom, dad, get their people over, whatever. Higgins is there. I think that the Higgins-Colin Albert combination is.
I'm gonna help Dave. You know what? I have zero material on my channel. I have no subscribers. I have nothing. There's nothing here. There's nothing here for you. There's nothing here for you. Yeah, I have nothing. But if you watched the beginning of the stream, I said we're gonna hang out tonight. We're gonna have a little movie night. We're gonna sit back and watch an interview that happened 2 weeks ago. We'll commentate over it. We'll talk about it in the chat. That does happen here. Yeah. And I actually put some pretty damn good presentations. So if you want, go back and check out. But I know, for you, there's just, I know there's no material here. So why watch? You can leave. It's all right. You can leave. Bye, Dave. Have a good night.
Really something to look at. When I think what could have happened, and that Colin Albert kid got loud, and I think Higgins, who of course had designs on Karen Reed and was texting with her a little bit, he got involved, and I think that's where the violence occurred. I do think the two characters are Higgins and Colin Albert.
I agree, Debbie.
Mostly I would look at Colin Albert. Am I
think that's
totally wrong?
No, I can't say that you're totally wrong. I can't say that you're totally right either. I have my own ideas about what happened. But certainly anybody who watched the trials, anybody who watched or read the motion work that we presented, anybody would reasonably come to a conclusion damn close.
Who would you like to see be called on the witness list? Someone that was in 34 Fairview, and would like to see them questioned even more. Give me a name in the chat. Who's your person? Who's your person of interest? Who is your person of interest that was at 34 Fairview that night? Let me know here in the chat. Who is your person of interest? I have mine. I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions for a certain person. I have a lot of questions. Oh, I love it. And that's the name. That is the name that I got. I like this one too. All of them. All of them. All of them. Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of the names that I see. Yes. Yep, that's who I have a lot of questions for. I have a lot of questions for that gentleman. I don't even want to call him a gentleman, but I have a lot of questions for that guy. A lot of questions. But I'm glad we're all thinking on the same plane here. All right, let's hear more, Jackson.
Just to what you just suggested. That is not
they're
far
all gonna
field. I don't think you're unreasonable in thinking that. Will we ever know who landed the fatal blow? I have my thoughts about who that was. There was a blow that was struck on John.
A brutal blow.
A brutal blow. And he went back and he hit his head on a ledged surface. And ultimately
probably something in the garage, probably something he fell back on. Huge gash.
You saw what we tried to do in the trial in terms of the garage. And we were thwarted in large part by Judge Cannoni in terms of trying to present that evidence. But there's a reason that we wanted the jurors to see inside that garage. There's a good reason for it. That wasn't just by, we weren't just doing it for shits and giggles. There was a reason.
What did you see in there?
There was clearly evidence of a structure that was absolutely 100% consistent, is 100% consistent.
With the gash on the back of the head.
With the gash on the back of his head.
And the structure was?
A ledge, a concrete ledge that you step down on, about a 4-inch ledge, made out of concrete with rough edges. It's funny because the coroner said, the medical examiner said, It was a ridged surface with uneven edges, not a smooth edge, uneven edges, as reflected in the autopsy photos.
Sal in the super chat here says, looking back across the testimony and exhibits from both trials, which one piece of evidence do you consider the single most decisive in demonstrating that Karen Reed did not strike John O'Keefe with her vehicle, and why?
Probably Michael Proctor's lying in his affidavit after affidavit, when he said he got the car. He was absolutely focused on making sure that he lied and deceived about when that car was taken. Why? Because he damn well knew that he had that car before that light was cracked. He needed time. He needed to have those moments. He needed that 90 minutes or so to have access to that taillight before the.
So the missing 40 minutes of tape from the Sallyport garage, where it's like the Epstein trial. It's like we're missing a minute of footage there, but you're missing 42 minutes of him back by the amazing thing in the first trial when you were like, excuse me, this video has been reversed. Right. They literally tampered with evidence in the worst way.
Right. So they all sort of fit together. These all dovetail these pieces of evidence that you're talking about, the inverted video, the Sallyport video that's missing 42 minutes, the exact time when the SUV was pulled into the Sallyport, which would have shown exactly the condition of that taillight, all missing, all inverted, all reversed, lied about in affidavit after affidavit after affidavit. Why all of that worked together to establish that the taillight material was not at 34 Fairview until after Michael Proctor and his folks had the car in there, and its taillight in their possession.
In fact,
so when someone asks, what's the one piece of evidence that establishes she didn't hit him? Well, I could point to Dr. Wolf, because the car never hit John. I could point to Dr. Rentschler. John was never struck by a vehicle. That's not where his injuries came from. I could point to Proctor and the lies. The car was in the Commonwealth's possession before a single piece of taillight was found. I could point to Canton PD. Canton PD did not one, not two, not three, not four, 5 searches, 5 individuals looking for taillight material when they found John at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. Not one single piece of taillight material found until 12 hours later. So all of these things dovetail together. It's a tapestry of evidence. It's not just one piece of evidence. But once you start looking at it, it's so obvious. Then you think to yourself, okay, well, why? Why would these folks? How could you say these folks are lying or just working together in this conspiracy? These people went to high school together.
Yeah.
Every one of these people lived it. They found an investigator, Billy. Think about this. They found an investigator that's independent. I hate air quotes, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to channel the president a little bit. Independent. They found an independent investigator after Canton PD was conflicted off of the case because the bad guy's brother works at Canton PD. So they go find an independent investigator who lives a mile from where this happened.
Not that independent.
In Canton. And went to high school with some of the folks that populate Canton PD. And his wife knows people his wife was supposed to have one of the Alberts babysit for his kid. I mean, this is all within hours and days of this event. It is not a stretch to realize that this entire tapestry of evidence was just completely fabricated.
And why?
To point at Karen.
You look at the prosecutor in the first trial, Adam Lally, and then the second one, Hank Brennan. I mean, you have to think these are reasonably intelligent people. So what are they? They know what they're up against. They know the cards they're holding.
They're there to win.
They're there just to get a win for the state
That's
and for
it.
law. That's it. Doesn't matter if that girl spends 20 years in jail.
Alan knows this because he was a prosecutor. He knows that. He knows that way of thinking. He knows that way of thinking. Just get a win. He knows that way of thinking. You sit here and just say, why Karen? Because they thought that she was the weakest link. She didn't have any real ties to anybody at 34 Fairview. She didn't have any real ties to anybody in the Mass State Police. She didn't have any real ties to the Canton Police Department. And that's why I think it's just so wild. We just heard Alan Jackson making all the connections, and people would go, oh no, there's no fucking way they would all work together. Yeah. It does happen. This is what happens in these like towny towns. People work together to keep, friends and family out of shit. And they just looked at it and said, well, she's the weakest link. Blame it on the girl. Blame it on Karen. Let her take the fall. How is she going to defend this? We're all connected. We can all get our stories straight. We'll stick to the plan. We'll beat this. Well, they weren't able to do that. All right, here we go.
If they had any other view of this, they could not morally have prosecuted this case. If they had any other view other than I just want a scalp.
What would you have done if you were the prosecutor and they said, hey, Jackson, we need you to prosecute this case? Would you have looked at it and said, yeah, not doing it?
Absolutely.
Really?
I wouldn't have just said, yeah, I'm not doing it. I would have said, this needs to be dismissed. And if you don't dismiss it, I'm going to dismiss it and I'll quit.
Wow.
Before I stay in an office that will prosecute this case. It was bullshit, and they knew it from the beginning. Both Adam Lally, I don't give him a single pass. Do I think he woke up in the morning deciding he was going to frame Karen? No, I don't think Adam Lally is of that ilk. But he absolutely knew well enough to know that this was not provable beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond any and all reasonable doubt. Walk away. That is your job as a prosecutor. Yep. You are not supposed to prosecute a case that you don't, in your heart of hearts, believe that you can prove to an independent jury of 12 folks beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no way he woke up in the morning or went to bed at night thinking that he could prove this case, nor could Brennan.
These are morally compromised people.
100%. 100%.
You will be walking back in for the civil trial, returning to the Coliseum. Literally, it was such a scene there with that crowd. Those guys are behind you, and you have a guy named Mark Diller, who is the lawyer that's in front of you. I wondered, what's his deal? He's a personal injury guy. Is he better than Jacoby and Myers? Is he a Sweet James? Is he a Larry Parker? I don't know, but I went to his website. I found his video. Let's take a look at opposing counsel and see what we think.
Sorry, bro. I'm going to have a chuckle here. I remember this. Oh, boy.
At him?
My name is Mark Diller. I'm a plaintiff's personal injury.
This guy is like watching paint dry on a wall. Why did I do a Trump voice there? My name is Mark Diller. I'm like watching paint dry on a wall. There is no personality and no character to this guy at all. He's just dry. And I'm going to win. And I'm going to help the Okies win their case.
Trial lawyer. I'm exposed to hardships of my clients. And I understand their struggles.
Like a Valium.
And it gives me a level of appreciation for how valuable life is.
Beautiful vanity shot there.
My father is a first generation American. His parents survived the Holocaust and came here at the end of the Second World War.
Okay, that's enough of him. That's your guy, Mark Diller, right there. Do you know anything about him? Nothing.
I mean, I know that he's a PI lawyer, which means he's after money. That's it.
Injury.
He doesn't care about justice. He doesn't care about who's
and he's
right
going to
get
paid. I mean, it's something.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm guessing he's going to get paid something.
I sit here and go, how are the O'Keefes financing this? How are they going to finance this trial? Who the hell is backing them? Who the hell is going to pay for all their experts to get up here? Who's going to pay for all, for all these witnesses to get up here? I want to know who's financially backing the O'Keefes right now. Through this trial, through this civil trial. How are they going to be able to afford, a minimum of 3 years, bringing in witnesses and experts? That's the biggest question that we have to start asking right now. Who is financing them? Or
that's what his hope is. But he's not going to get paid by Karen.
No, he's not.
So
what is happening with the next steps beyond the legal? You have a state or federal case that you might bring on offense this time. Get off the heels and get and go after the people who actually did this. And then there's also, the movie. There's a book. There's these things. Has Karen started to write? How far along is the movie project that we all want to see?
I'm not going to speak for her. I will tell you that there are talks underway. Certainly, we're discussing those very things pretty regularly. So I can't imagine that there's not an appetite to hear from Karen in that forum, in that particular forum, both from a book standpoint as well as potentially a film standpoint. So I wouldn't say no, that's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty confident it will happen.
A movie or a series or either one?
Folks that are smarter than me and in that industry will make that decision. But
they're not smarter. But I can tell you that
people that know the
creative,
industry, maybe more creative, that know that side of the industry better than I do, they'll make that decision. But I do know that there is this is the top and the bottom of this discussion is really not self-aggrandizing for us, for our team, for Karen, for her parents. None of that. What we're focused on, what I think Karen is focused on, is shedding light, shining a bright light in as big a forum as we possibly can on the corruption that led us here. And not just corruption on January 29th, 2022. Corruption that is generational in scope. Corruption that is centuries old. Corruption that dates back to post-colonial Massachusetts. A one-party state where there's no checks and balances whatsoever. People get voted into office over and over and over out of something that is just beyond me. It's habit. It's just how does a Michael Morrissey get voted into office over and over? And he's completely 100% incompetent and compromised. He is compromised.
The DA from Norfolk County.
Correct.
He won't be running again. His popularity is so low.
Who knows? I mean, we say that, but
time does go on.
He's got a war chest. He's been making money and saving money for decades.
How's the DA in Plymouth County? This is there's civil trials in Plymouth County, right? It's a different county. Yeah, Morrissey's not involved.
Has nothing to do with the DA's office. Keep in mind that's a civil case.
Oh, right. He's just okay.
Right. Yeah.
Can you call Morrissey?
Sure.
You can call him in the civil trial?
Absolutely.
Are you going to?
Who knows? We'll see.
Oh my God!
I've already said, Billy. I'm going to say it again. Nobody.
The crowds will be wild for that. They want. People are not happy with that guy.
Yeah. No, they're not, and they shouldn't be. They should be disgusted with that guy. That guy he has one job to do: protect their interests, and all he does is feather his own nest. Oh. So, and that kind of crap happens over and over and over because there are no checks and balances in Massachusetts, and that's why a book needs to be written. That's why a film needs to be done, or a scripted series needs to be done to get as many eyeballs and readers to understand what really happened, what really has to happen for a community and a system at large to do what the Massachusetts justice system did to Karen Read. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by happenstance.
Facts.
Wow. Alan Jackson is in studio with us. Alan, you can check your email for 1 quick second while we pay a bill here, because we're going to get into your future and what's ahead. And I got one more question about whether you want Casey Affleck or Jason Sudeikis to play you in the movie. But give me a second here. We want to tell you about.
All right, let me just speed up because we don't sponsor there. Okay.
There's some vibe there.
I have no idea. I've never met Jason. I've spoken to him on the phone once. Never met Casey. I'd be honored by anybody who wants to play the role of the person that walks in and gives an assist to Karen. So I'll let other folks make that decision.
There's a project unaffiliated with Karen, with Elizabeth Banks in the starring role as Karen Read. Is she flattered, or is she like, huh? I mean, she's definitely reacted to that.
I think it's more the latter.
Yeah.
Look, if you're gonna tell the story of someone who's sitting here, she's still very much alive. She's still sitting here. Maybe you might want to make a phone call and say, hey, by the way, I want to tell your story. You want to help out, or you want to back off and let me do what I'm going to do? At least make the phone call. She never did. She and her people never did anything to reach out to Karen. I'm not hard to find. I'm easy to find. And there was no overture through me to Karen and no overture directly to Karen. So it is a little bit off-putting. Karen didn't authorize anything that's going to happen in the Banks project, and I didn't either.
It's a little like seeing people as sort of objects or like a piece of meat or something like that.
I think
because you could learn a lot by now. You kind of Elizabeth and the team, have they lost their opportunity to really consult with you guys and learn more?
No, they've lost
Not
that
gonna
opportunity.
happen. Yeah.
They've lost that opportunity. I don't think they're ever intended to take that opportunity. I think they're opportunists, and I think that it's exactly why they decided to go down that road. They just they saw dollar signs.
Yeah,
And
I can.
Elizabeth Banks probably had a little bit of an ego moment and thought she could play Karen Reed. I'm not so sure she could. I'm not sure.
I hope it's
she's
not
got
a
the
comedy
chops.
because she's a comedian.
She
but
seems to be a comedic actress, and that would be an absolute tragedy.
I think a mistake for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think she'd do that. I think she's looking for a dramatic role here.
Yeah, and I don't know that she can pull it off. We'll see.
Since we are live on YouTube right now on our channel, we want to give a shout out to Bill Reed and Janet. They are watching. And hi, Bill. How are you? Karen's
Bless
father.
their hearts.
Karen could be right there too. We don't know. She tends.
Any of the Reeds are watching. I hope they're well. I really do. I hope they're well. It's been a little while since I've talked to any of them, and I hope they're well. And again, it breaks my heart. And I've said this too. It just breaks my heart to see Karen's parents having to sit in a courtroom for like almost the last 3 years, and here we are again in a civil trial. And watching that hearing, almost a week and a half ago, here they are in a courtroom again. They should be out on a beach or enjoying their life somewhere rather than being in a courtroom. But it just shows the resilience and the support that they have for their daughter, Karen, and to get her on the other side of this. And I truly believe that Karen is going to be okay in the end. I think she's going to be okay. And it's my opinion. I think that the O'Keefes are going to get their asses handed to them a third time. I really do. Okay, we got about another 10 minutes. We'll hang out here. Thank you for joining this evening, friends. It's kind of like movie night here on LTL. Friday night hangout. Grab your popcorn, relax, your pumpkin spice, whatever it may be, your candy corn, your Halloween candy. About another 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap this one up. I appreciate all the support here tonight, the great chat. We always have a great chat over here. And if you're new here, subscribe, comment in the chat, come hang out. We saw a lot of newbies over here, a lot of new subscribers to the channel. This is what we do. We hang out, and this is the things that we do. So it's good to see everybody. All right, let's play this out.
To pop in sometimes. Last time we were talking to Bill, whoop, there she was. But if you're there, hey guys,
nice to see you, Bill. Nice to see you, Janet.
There they are. So Peter Murphy, who 30-year sergeant in the Canton Police Force, a wonderful guy who was with us the whole way throughout the trial. He said nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop, and he said, "Is the RICO Act needed here?"
So it's a good question, right, Peter? We'll see. Like I said, I'm going to keep repeating nothing's off the table. I'm not going to give away the farm. But yeah, there's obviously we've looked into that significantly.
Okay. He's keeping some cards, the cards, Peter.
There you go.
But do you want that from him? So I think, unless we've missed anything, I did want to ask you a couple of questions. You will be going in and out of Boston, but you have a case that's going on here.
I do.
Is there anything you can say? This is a case of a young guy. He's 23 years old. His name is Frasier Bomb.
Right.
And he was driving on October 17th, 2023, driving on the PCH in Malibu. And he had hit some cars, and the cars then hit four women who lost their lives.
Tragically, right.
Tragically. They say, allegedly, the prosecution says he was going 104 miles an hour. You said more like 70, if that's correct. I
know there was something the other day. I think Alan was trying to get his bail dropped or reduced, and I don't think the judge was having it. So this is going to be an interesting case to follow as well, too.
He's charged with 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence. What can you tell us about him? It seems most unfortunate.
Something as equally tragic as what happened that night is the charging decision of the DA's office. I've got to say, There's no way to put into words the tragedy that occurred, and Frasier understands that and agrees with it. The problem with this case, it is wildly overcharged. This should never have been charged as a murder case, certainly not 4 murders. There was a single incident that occurred. It was a tragic accident, and that's all it was. I can tell you exactly why this ended up being a murder case, and it's for all the wrong reasons. We've talked a little bit about politics and DAs and Michael Morrissey in Norfolk. This case was charged under George Gascon. When George Gascon was getting hammered daily.
This is the old DA in
Correct.
Los Angeles County, folks, who just got voted out overwhelmingly.
Correct.
And replaced by Nathan Hochman.
And Nathan and his campaign was doing a remarkable job of shining a light on the fact that George Gascon was soft on crime, soft on crime, soft on crime. He was just soft on crime. And in the midst of that, George Gascon was embattled at that point, an embattled politician, desperate to try to right the ship, as Nathan Hochman ran an incredibly powerful, truth-telling campaign about how poor a job George Gascon had done. And it was all true. But what George Gascon ended up doing then is this was laid out for him probably by his campaign, not by his DAs, as a silver platter. Oh, you want to see soft on crime? Watch this. I'll take this rich white kid in Malibu, supposedly rich white kid. Frasier doesn't have a penny to his name. And I'm going to charge him to the sheets. I'm going to throw everything I've got at him. 4 counts of murder. I suspect, I'm pretty confident that if Frasier had a different last name, if he did not fit a particular demographic, we would never be having this conversation. This is not a murder case. Did you know that, and this is tragic about the Pepperdine students who lost their lives. There is no way to get your head around that kind of loss, that kind of silence, that kind of sorrow that fills your soul about their loss. In our lifetime, years back, the president of Pepperdine, the sitting president of Pepperdine, Norval Young, was driving his car and hit 2 women and killed them both.
Really? The president of Pepperdine now?
No. Years ago.
Okay.
No, this is.
Oh, he was sitting
This
at
is
the
back
time.
this is back in the 70s. He was the sitting
and heading
the
back
sitting
to
president.
campus or whatever.
Hit 2 women, killed them. Except Norval Young was drunk. As you know, Frasier Bomb, no drugs, no alcohol, not on his phone.
And he was 21 at the time, a young
22
kid?
at the time.
So why was he going so fast on the highway anyway, whatever speed?
Let me finish my point.
Yeah.
Norval Young hit 2 people and killed them. Involuntary manslaughter, 4 years probation, not 1 day in jail. Not one. My client is facing 4 life
I'm not
terms.
sure, Ocean.
Back to back to back to back for an accident. This case is wildly overcharged. It was a political backlash filing. That's all it was. And my hope is Nathan Hochman is a very, very different DA, a very solid DA. My hope is that the only reason that this is continuing under his watch is more apathy than in anything malicious. I don't believe he's malicious at all about this particular prosecution.
Can he throw it out if he wants to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I expect to have a conversation with him and his staff about exactly that, righting the ship. Let's prosecute this case as it should be. I will defend this case all day long with the right charges, all day long. If it was charged as a vehicular manslaughter, I could defend that all day long because I don't believe that Frasier did anything criminal.
Yeah,
it was a tragic accident that was born out of other circumstances, including a road rage incident in which
So
he
was
was
he
being
trying
chased
to
down.
outrun somebody who was going after
Not
him?
outrun him, but just get away from him. Create distance. That's what you're taught to do. Get away from the person. Don't stop your car. Don't get out. Don't get into a physical altercation. Just get away from the threat, which is what he was trying to do. And he lost control on an incredibly dangerous little spate of road, about 1.5 miles of road in Malibu called Dead Man's Corner or Dead Man's Curve.
Oh, geez.
And it was at that point that he lost control of his car and this accident occurred. It was just a confluence of tragic events. And he didn't mean any harm
Like
to
sliding
any person.
doors. Sliding doors. If he-
Exactly like sliding doors. Change the circumstances 3 seconds, 5 seconds, one way or the other on either side of the incident, and this tragedy does not occur.
The families of these 4 women are grieving, and their grief has had enough time to turn to anger. I mean, how do you get to them? Because, you know, do they understand it, or are they just like, pay
Billy,
for this,
the
you
last thing,
rich kid?
Yep, the last thing I would do is try to change their minds. They're going through a grieving process that I
Yes,
can
they
only
are.
imagine. I can't even imagine. So I would never try to change their minds.
No.
But that's why we don't have private prosecutions in this country. That's exactly why we don't allow the victim's family to prosecute, because they do see red. They do hurt in a way that we can't imagine, and they do want some kind of retribution. I get that. I understand it. That's why we have professional, objective prosecutors. This was an emotional, politically driven decision to charge this young man, 22-year-old young man, with not even a traffic ticket, not a parking ticket, with 4 counts of murder, and seek to put him in prison for the rest of his life. Think about that. That's the tragedy that's the second tragedy.
Super overcharged.
Wow, you have got such a busy schedule coming up. Just a final question from the super chat here: is the Frasier Bomb trial going to be streamed? Is it going to be for viewing?
I can almost guarantee it is. I don't make that decision. The judge ultimately makes that decision, but Judge Rubinson has allowed cameras in the courtroom up to this point, and I would imagine that there's going to be a very, very significant request by multiple agencies to multiple outlets to stream it live.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow. So it's gonna go again.
Yeah. It's this is a heavyweight case. It's something that keeps me up at night, much like Karen's case did.
The amount of time you spend on television, defending people, you really should be the next Judge Wapner. Like down to when it's all said and done, just take it. I'm on TV so much. I'm just going to be the judge and sit here, like, Judge Judy, and drink your Vesper Martini and just.
No, I'll come sit next to you and co-host you before I'll do that.
Oh, good. Make that a promise. Okay, Alan Jack. Oh, I just have to ask one question. You did defend, and it was thrown out, Kevin Spacey years ago.
I did.
Do you stay in touch with him?
Yeah, we do.
I text him sometimes. He's gone dark on me. Will you text him later on and just be like, it's time to come in and talk to Billy Bush?
Happy to. I'll text him.
Okay, good. Alan Jackson. Boy, I hope you're never in the need of having to call him, mostly because he's very busy and he might not be able to, but it's been a real pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you coming in here a lot.
Great interview. Great interview. Love it. Go over and subscribe to Billy Bush. I'll drop the link in the chat for everybody. My email address just dropped in there too. So good stuff. Good movie night. Friday night is a great interview, right? We're still waiting on Kevin Spacey. Yeah. Don't hold your breath. But no, cool. It was a great interview. I like I said, I get to watch about half of it, and I turned it off and I forgot about it. And then when I was at work today, I was like, oh, I'd like to rewatch that. Let's finish it up. And it was good just to go through it. Even though it happened like 2 weeks ago, but it really was it was good to go through it. So let's see. My schedule it's Friday night. I don't know. Maybe I do something on Sunday. If not, I definitely know I'm going to be back on Wednesday. I have Todd and Nan on the show, and we're going to start doing the Brian Walsh trial because that's set to happen and take place and start on October 20th. So I want to start getting and talking about that. You guys are welcome to join us on Wednesday. Normally do Monday night, but Nan is out of town right now on business, so we bumped it to Wednesday. So Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Set your reminder. I might squeeze in a stream from now and then. If not, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But again, really great interview. Billy Bush killed it. Go over and subscribe to his channel. And we'll just keep our eyes out there and keep doing what we do over here on LTL. I appreciate everybody coming over tonight and hanging out. It is good to be here. Oh, by the way, this is great. Are there any updates on the Long Island audit? Yes, I will be down in Connecticut. I'm probably like 90% sure that I'm going to be there on Tuesday, speaking at that the Groton Community Select Board, if that's what you want to call it. And I'm hopefully, if I can make it, I will be there and I will confront the mayor and call her out on her bullshit of lying about Spitgate. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And Mayor Franco, I'm getting ready to put my little speech together. I've been asked to go out. There's Scalzo Photo. He's a really great channel. He emailed me and he said, we'd love to have you out. So I think I've been feeling a little bit better lately. I think I'm going to be able to make it out there. And I actually got to email them. You just put the thought in my head to get on the public speaking list for that meeting tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. I will probably put together some type of live stream and we'll live stream it while I'm there. You guys are all welcome to watch. If not, you can watch it on the replay and I'm sure that we'll go through it. But I'm looking forward to doing that. So hopefully I can make it. Like I said, I've been facing some health stuff that I've been going through, and hopefully starting to get some answers. I'm in with a specialist now. It's not anything life-threatening. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. But it's been a very uncomfortable process that I've been going through, and I'm good. All major things have been ruled out, which is good. We have a few more tests to get to, and hopefully this thing will pass pretty soon, and we'll be back on the mend and 100% here pretty soon. So that is going to be it for this live. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all soon. Again, if you're not getting the notifications on my lives when I go live, the best thing to do, and I will say this, is connect on my Facebook page. I constantly post on there, and there's my Facebook page. You can go over there and subscribe or like or how the hell they do it, and you will get notifications over there. So just check into the Facebook page if you're not getting my lives, and please make sure to have all your bell notifications turned on. So that's it. And I appreciate all the prayers. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support. And we'll be back soon. Love all you guys. Go subscribe to Billy Bush. He killed it in that interview. It was a great job. And like I said, we'll be starting to talk Brian Walsh's case pretty soon, as that's coming up on October 20th. I love all you guys. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe after this video if you haven't done that already. Appreciate all the support. We had 2 new members tonight. Appreciate that support. It's great to see everybody, and we'll talk soon. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend if I don't see you. Take care. Bye-bye.